These New Puritans is the name of an English band from Southend-on-Sea, but they're now probably could be better considered a duo, as they currently consist of Jack Barnett and George Barnett, who are twins. When they started in 2006, they had two other people with them, but they seem to have been lost along the way. They have, however, released 4 studio albums so far. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was the third studio album by These New Puritans, and it's my first encounter with them. I've seen the name coming up. I can't remember if I heard the name in other contexts. One of the maybe mild problems that I have occasionally is that I have looked through this list a few times. So there are names that I don't know what I'm going to expect when I get there, but there are names that I've heard of, but sometimes it's just from seeing them on the list. So, yeah, I didn't know what I was going to expect from this at this point. And at this point in time, there were 3 of them in this band. But this album features, as far as I could see on the listing on Wikipedia, 41 other musicians. Most of those are classical musicians. Quite a few are choral, but one is a hawk. Also listed are the hawk's handler and a glazier. Somebody is down as playing glass, and I think that's smashing glass as it happens. So I've seen various different genre attributions for this album. One of them mentions post rock. That's the Acclaimed music one. Um, now, I wouldn't say I have an expert grasp on what post rock is, but I will tell you what I think it means, which is music that's embraced more of a kind of chamber music feel, particularly with the use of classical instruments, so things like oboes and cellos and stuff like that, often with a less emphasis on beats and rhythms and drums. And so when I say classical, it's not really a feel like orchestral music, it's a feel like chamber music, which is small groups stuff. But also with that, to have a particular approach to musical arrangement, which I wish I had the right phrases to be able to describe what it does musically, but it owes something to contemporary classical music. So especially minimalists like, I'm going to name check Steve Reich, Michael Nyman and John Cage and others in there, and a particular approach to kind of interleaving of the notes and the chord progressions and the repetition that's going on as well. So this as they can be identified as that under that description, so I think I probably will. I would claim that this is more classical than rock in many ways. As I said before, not big and orchestral, kind of more kind of in the small and chamber feel. But that doesn't mean there aren't some big, sounds at times. There are drums in here, and they're often quite unusual rhythms. Sometimes the what I might call janky rhythms because they're a bit kind of spiky and the kind of the less to dance to and more to fall over to maybe. The musical harmonic content, I wouldn't be able to analyze it. I'm not that good at music. But again, it reminds me of the contemporary classical things that I mentioned before. There's certainly a certain amount of dissonance and disharmony going on. I did wonder if some of it was kind of modal in approach, but I think even that's too simple a view of the musical approach that's here. It's certainly not using predominantly the major scale that we're used to. And the whole field then gives it shifting, I wrote down here, shifting landscapes of soundscapey textures and interwoven lines. On top of all this, there's some singing by Jack Barnett. I say singing is mostly muttering to notes with his mouth half open. It sounds like a kind of extreme version of some of Radiohead's lyrics, Tom York, but more so. And I was singing like this, so there's hardly any consonants in it at all, and that's not a very good impression. Um, I wouldn't say it was something that annoyed me or put me off. It just meant that I couldn't hear the words a lot of the time. There are some other singers in here, mostly female. I think there are some child singers, some of the people who are listed here as well. So I don't know what the words are about. I didn't really pick up that at all. But I found it to be a good listen. I did enjoy it. It is unusual in a way that I enjoyed. Um, yeah, so I'm up for this reasonably. So gonna give it 7.5, which is this, but not yay. But just it's about that much of liking. So yeah, that's what I think. As always, I'd love to invite you to tell me what you think of this album. So please do by leaving me a comment in the comments down below. And that's it from me for now.
On the island, there are no places or people, and I'll go